Welcome to the Smark Foundation podcast. I'm Aaron. This is Adam.
Howdy, guys. How's it going?
And this week we're here to talk about all the AEW and WWE goodness that has come out of the week, as usual. Adam, do you want to run down our social medias, please?
Absolutely. I was prepared this time. Yeah, you can find us on Blue Sky. That is our official home now for social media content. Our official handle is at SMARKFNDNPODCAST.bsky.social. Mine is Adam Smark FNDN pod dot bsky.social. Aaron's is aaronsmark.bsky.social. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/at Smark Foundation Podcast. We also have, you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Pandora, pretty much anywhere that you stream your podcasts from normally. Are we still having trouble with Apple with distribution there? Are they still giving us issues?
Yes, we are. They are
Boo
very
and hiss.
and his. They are very anti me because I do not currently own an Apple device. And that is literally right now the difference between us being on there and being not. So I'm about to buy a cheap iPhone just so I can send them the code. Um, so
You know what though? I mean, honestly, Pandora is free, guys. Spotify for you don't have to pay for Spotify for the normal account, and you can find us there that way very easily. And YouTube is free for literally everybody. We would very much like to get those views up. Actually, we always drop our streams on the podcast sites first, including our very own site, our very own home. Uh, you can find us there at that was the only one I didn't have posted up, but you can find us at Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. On YouTube, they go up a day later, and we post both the whole episodes and we chop them up into our segments for a little bit easier listening. I know, when I go to work, I like to have something on YouTube just like for the 20-minute ride to and from work that's a little bit more digestible. We try to we wind up with bigger segments than that usually by a little bit, but yeah, I find it a lot easier to digest in chunks like that. I know there are some of our listeners who only keep up with one brand or another. That's an excellent way to do it because we do them by how we cover it. So each show we cover is one show, next segment into the next show, into this next show, into the next show. So if you only follow AEW or if you only follow WWE, you can skip one of our voices and then go right to the end where we have our call in the ring segment. It's really, really convenient.
with that said, let's go ahead and get into our lockup for the week. And
Yeah,
that's our Raw
unfortunately, we
review.
don't have a lot of time to kind of yammer at you guys a little bit like we normally do because the Continental Classic is actually going to be releasing their the actual competitors at 11:30 my time, and right now it is 8:48 my time. And since we have a tendency to go long, we would like to participate in that live. So,
Yes, we would.
yes,
Yes, we
thank
would.
you, Aaron. I am going on way too long, and since it's your segment first, I will cede the time to you for the lockup.
All right. For the lockup this week, our Raw review. Okay, honestly, let me be upfront about this. The Raw and SmackDown reviews this week are going to be really short because the big point of both shows this week was to set up Survivor Series War Games. And War Games, they did build. SmackDown was a little bit better than Raw this week, but Raw did have some stuff on it, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. First off, starting with Raw, it looks like the brand split is kind of. I know we have a world champion that's on Raw and a WWE champion or Universal champion that's on SmackDown. I think right now the brand split is becoming less of a thing. It's mostly because of War Games, just because there are people from different brands that are on the same team. Like both women's champions are heels, and they will both be featured on the heel side of the women's War Games match. So Monday, we found out who the women's War Games match would be. We've got Naya, uh, we've got Naya, um, Liv, Raquel, and then Nyla and Raquel, and then the other two were Oh, Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton. So that's our five heel women for the um that's our five heel women for the women's war games. So they were confronted then towards the end of Raw by or towards the beginning of Raw, actually. I think this happened like towards the beginning. Um they were confronted by Jaden Bianca, Io Sky, and Bailey. And they were like, "Who's the fifth? Haha, Liv's like, math isn't mathing here. There's four of you, there's five of us. You know how this is going to work out." At which point, Rhea Ripley's music hit, and she came out wearing a mask over her ocular socket injury, walked right into the ring, grabbed the microphone, screamed "War Games" into the microphone, and then headbutted Liv Morgan with the mask. It was
Well, I
probably
mean, I bet she pulls off undashing a little bit better than Cody Rhodes.
probably. Yeah, I would say yes, actually. But yeah,
Knowing our proclivities, I think that's something we can agree on.
she smashed Liv with that, and then they all got into a brawl. Really super happy to see Jaden Bianca in there, representing on the War Games side. Io and Bailey seems kind of weird to me because don't they hate each other still? Um,
I mean, that's WWE logic for you, though. I mean, that's
yeah,
classic. Oh, this you betrayed me 4 months ago. Oh, it doesn't matter because one of us turned heel in the meantime or
yeah,
face in the meantime.
that's
So
kind of what happened with the
we
Cody
share a
Rhodes thing.
locker room, so we're all friends again.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with the Cody Rhodes thing. Like now him and Roman Reigns are cool, even though they weren't. Like, I mean, so yeah, WWE logic at its best, I guess. But yeah, it's really weird because not only are they having Io and Bailey team up together inside this War Games match, but they're presenting Dakota Kai on her return with Damage Control as a face.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of weird to me because they've been heels for so long. But
It didn't
also,
really organically turn, did
oh,
they?
they didn't really organically turn it, just kind of abruptly are being presented this way. Which I
They
mean,
just started facing different people.
yeah, with Kyrie, I guess it's not really out of place because it's hard not to cheer her.
Yeah,
She's just kind of like
she's adorable and has the best top rope elbow in the
oh yeah,
business.
she's kind of like what's the girl on AEW that's her same like build?
Riho.
Riho. Yeah, it's like Riho. It's hard not to
Riho. We love Riho here.
yeah, it's hard not to root for them just because they're so minuscule in
Yeah.
size, but can really bump with substance, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody who's listened to the show the entire time knows that I really like it when somebody can bump with substance, especially as a smaller person. So I think this is going to be a cool one. It kind of leaves me wondering what Dakota and Kyrie are going to do for this pay per view with Io and the tag team champions both being in War Games. Um,
Yeah.
but they are kind of trying to determine a number one contender for the tag team titles right now. The same way they're trying to determine who's going to go into the U.S. title, tournament. Um, Bailey is our first person into the U.S. title tournament. I think that might have actually been last week, but we only had. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think here.
I think that
Uh,
was last week. Yeah.
yeah, there. I think there was a match for who was going to go in this week, but maybe not. Maybe they just, I don't know. It was one of those ones where Raw was like, breathe the bull again, but it just didn't seem like there was a lot to it. Like I got through Raw and was like, what happened?
Mm.
Not that it was a bad show because I mean, obviously it's very memorable that they set up the women's War Games match, but other than that, they do have the men's War Games match kind of set up. So I believe it was last week Bronson Reed showed up and he was
Mm-hmm.
declared
Yep.
as fifth man for the new bloodline. This week on Raw, the OG bloodline a is still looking for a fifth guy. They're on Raw. A couple people get asked, but everybody's a no, basically. They asked. I think they even went so far as to ask Cody, and he was like no. Which we'll get to why that's a no later. Um, but but yeah, there's like it's basically right now we're just building towards war games is the big thing, and that's taking up 10 people on both brands, um, or on both sides, women and men. So we got 20 people in the war games matches, and so obviously the biggest point of all the shows right now is what's happening with that. We do have some littler stuff though. They are building some undercard stuff. We'll talk more about the women's U.S. title in the SmackDown review because they did do another match on SmackDown to determine another person in that part of the tournament.
Mm.
And I think it was on Raw, so I'm going to go and I'm trying to keep these kind of brief, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now because it's something that happens on Raw pretty often, or that I see a lot. Um, I know I made this kind of gripe last week where I'm tired of seeing um, LA Knight face the same person over and over again for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And now it looks like that's going to be the match at Survivor Series again.
Uh,
I am like, I liked Umberto, but and I like their whole like faction. And the guy's name is just not playing in my head right now.
Who,
uh,
Angel Garza?
no,
His
it's
cousin?
the other one, not Umberto or Angel, but the other guy, Santos Escobar. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Santos. So it looks like they're going to go for like round 8 with Santos and LA Knight, and I'm not really into it, man. I'm just, I kind of, there's tons of people in your mid card. Please, anybody else at this point, literally, please give me anyone else. At one point, it looked like the guy from Street Profits was going to be the next challenger.
Oh, either one of those would have
Not
been
Angelo,
interesting.
the other guy. I can't remember.
Montez.
Montez Ford. There we
Montez
go.
Ford, yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
guy,
should.
for years, I have been saying that guy has just big money written all over
Yeah.
him.
I totally
Like
think it's
he's going to be
him.
big when they finally let him go.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen right now. It looks like they're doubling down on the Street Profits, and they're working a program with Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, which is
Well, we'll get
kind
to
of
that.
weird, but we'll get to that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, really, Raw was good, but it wasn't like anything to write home about. It wasn't bad, but we're really leaning into War Games coming up, and we're really just barreling full bore towards that. Nothing that was on the show had anything to do with anything other than War Games, and so like there are other matches going on at Survivor Series, but really this is obviously the main focus. Is we're going to have a women's and a men's war game match, and that was made abundantly clear on Monday because we knew we were going to have some kind of 5-on-5 scrap with the Bloodlines, and that it was going to be probably a war games match, but there was no indication until Monday that we were going to get a women's version of said match.
Hmm.
Um,
And then
until
it
Rhea
just
Ripley
happened.
screamed it in the mic and headbutted Liv Morgan. I mean, it was cool. That part was cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, it wasn't nothing to write
Well,
home
Rhea
about.
Ripley is impossibly cool.
She is
Like
impossibly cool, but
she's
also,
impossibly cool.
man, you could see like how black her eye was with that orbital bone injury, like through the
Yeah.
mask and
Is
everything.
that's still like kind of newish, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know when it happened exactly, but they did it happened at a point in the week where they had to like bring her and Liv and Raquel on NXT, and then have Liv and Raquel beat her up with baseball bats on NXT to kind of sell the wound and write her
Oh,
off
was it in the
TV.
parking lot?
Yeah, yeah.
That
So they
NXT
were
parking lot, man, most dangerous place in wrestling.
sure is, isn't it?
Yeah,
But so they
historically speaking, good lord.
so they did it in the NXT parking lot, and we're supposed to have written her off TV, and that's kind of what everybody expected. And then she showed up on Monday. And that was a total surprise to me. I didn't know it was going to happen. So good on WWE for surprising me. They've been doing that a lot lately, and I'm kind of okay with that. So, yeah, I mean, as far as Raw goes, it was mostly just Survivor Series build, the inklings and the beginnings, except for that War Games promo, which we know we've got, and the rest of it the rest of the card kind of fleshes it out. The rest of the card kind of fleshes itself out on Friday. So we're not really going to be left in the dark as to what we're building towards for the next 4 weeks. So I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
that.
mean, they only have 5 match pay-per-views now anyway, so
Yeah.
it's not like they have to build like an entire card like they used to.
Yeah. And I mean, we've already got, that's 5 matches, and we've already got, I think, 4 that I can, well, no. Oh, no, okay. So I was going to say it would be the women's U.S. title match, but that is actually happening on Saturday night's main event. So,
Oh, okay.
so they're saving the women's thing for Saturday night's main event for the U.S. title.
Well, they've got
So,
to do it for something, I
so as
suppose.
far as I can see, we have a men's U.S. title match, another match that I'll talk about later, and the two War Games matches so far.
Okay.
That's where we're at, and we're not going to have any women's title matches at all because all four, like both of the women's champions and the tag team champions, are in the War Games match.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense though. Like
Yeah,
you only have so many champions, and you want to
true.
put your biggest stars in there, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So that was Raw for the week. It was good. It was good. I'm not like fawning over it, but it wasn't bad. So, um, I guess that
Hmm.
brings us right over to it's not our hopes. That's the
Shine
moment.
me up, baby.
It's the shine time. Yeah, time for the shine. All right,
Yeah.
let's tag it in.